They finished 4-1 on this 5-game roadie, of course, finishing off Oklahoma City 127-116. They make 21 threes. They drop 35 assists. And under Steve Kerr, they're 43-5 all time when they make 23s and drop over 30 assists. And they had to hang on for dear life there, nearly blowing a 30-point lead. OKC cut it to 114-108, but a couple big-time shots by Stephen Curry, who had a season high at points and made threes, and that was all she wrote. And overall, the Warriors have to be feeling good right now ahead of Clay's return Tuesday night at Chase Center. But we welcome everybody to Toyota Warriors Postgame Live with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, NBA champion Festus Ezeli. I am Bonte Hill, and we looked at this game as OKC was number one in all the defensive categories. Chet gets hurt early, but it doesn't matter. The Warriors outscore OKC 81-46 in the second and third quarters combined, and they hold on a little bit here. A little turbulent there at the end, but they get the job done, Fezzi.
It's like everything else, Bonte. An early lead is the kiss of death in the NBA, and the Warriors right now, they're trying to get their team together. Everybody's finally back in the lineup, and we got Steph Curry on the other line, so I'd rather hear from him right now.
Save your thoughts, Mully. We got the chef in the building. And Steph is all smiles with a season high in points and made threes. Again, the Warriors make over 20 threes and drop over 30 assists. And Steph, what a road trip for you guys. You guys finished 4-1. Now, we know the road trip started in Houston, nearly blowing a 31-point lead, but you guys show a lot of resiliency in that overtime win. And you make some statements here over the last stretch of this road trip, beating Boston and then bouncing back in a major way after the Cleveland Cavaliers lost Friday. Can you discuss this road trip and what it may mean for you guys moving forward here?
Yeah, you always have to have perspective in this league because it's so hard to win. So if you get on the plane in SFO, whatever it was 10, 11 days ago, and you say we had to go 4-1, you take that all day. Obviously, the Cleveland game was tough pill to swallow, but our resiliency to bounce back and play against a very tough OKC team in their building and get a win like this on the way home, it shows, what we're building. And that news cycle is crazy. We go from the highs of Boston to the lows of Cleveland, and you just got to stick with the plan of what we're trying to do and rely on every guy on this bench to perform and impact the game, and we did that tonight.
Well, Steph, now you're 8-2, top of the West, and you talk about using so many different plays in different roles. Talk about DeAnthony Melton tonight. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 made threes, his first start. How's that chemistry between you and Melt?
It's exactly kind of what you expected. I think he's been around the block. He's a gamer, and when we played against them when he was in Memphis, and we were in that playoff series, he was a difference maker on both ends of the floor. And so I know he's been dealing with injuries last couple of seasons, and for him to get through this early little absence and come back and assert himself into the starting lineup, the third quarter was huge. He was hitting big threes, playing great defense. Nobody really talked about it. That last play where I got the three was because he got a great rebound, 1 of the 10, came down with poise, drew a crowd, kicked it to the corner, swung back to me. Like, those are the shots that veterans make or create. And it was a great play. I told him that was all him. It was a big dagger shot, but it was all him.
Steph, we're finally at the game now where, you can process the emotions of having to play against Klay Thompson. What is that going to be like for you? Talk to me, Steph.
He's yaps now, right, Steph?
Come on, Steph.
I'm not ready for this, man. It's going to be a lot to look forward to, and I'm excited to see him, obviously, as a friend. But I'm trying to conserve all of my mental energy for Tuesday because it's going to be a lot.
I'll change the subject, Steph. Another underrated play was Jonathan Kuminga forced guy baseline. You were right there for the help defense. A huge turnover you forced with your help defense on the baseline there.
Yeah, it's tough because a team like OKC, and obviously when Chet went out, they played 5 guards most of the game, and so they're doing 5 out. And those rotations are difficult, but you have to trust that if JK runs a guy off the line and forces him baseline, that he's going to have help, and it was me in that position, and I got to trust whoever's behind me to cover my butt. And I don't know who got the steal. I can't remember who it was, but we all three were working together, and so that's the trust that we're trying to build. And if you're going to apply pressure on the perimeter, you got to have guys that step up behind the play. Draymond does it all the time. Loon does it all the time. it's interesting when the guard's down there.
I see you, big fella. Okay, help side.
Steph, you made Steve Kerr and Bob McKillop very happy with that play.
That part, fundamentals.
Hey, Steph, I know the folks there in OKC can't wait for you to retire. We hope you don't retire for another 10 years, but I know that building, you've had some of your most memorable nights in that building. I'm sure they're not going to say goodbye to you, say have a nice flight back to SFO, huh?
I think this is our only trip here this year, so yeah, familiar sights. I like it. The one thing is cool over the course of however many years. There's only a couple years where OKC and us weren't very relevant in the Western Conference, but for the most part, it's always been a grind and a battle here. And so you look forward to it. There's great energy. The fans are great. Their team is great, and it's obviously great to get a win.
Good job, Steph.
All right, Tess. All right, Steph, man. Safe travels back and get your emotions in order, man. Tuesday's going to be a wild night at Chase Center.
I'm mad at Festus, man.
All right, Steph Curry here. I'll tell you the Warriors post-game live, and let's recap this road trip. Because as Steph mentioned right off the top, if you would have told them flying out of SFO to Houston, Texas, hey, you're going to be 4-1 on this road trip, everybody would have taken it. We may have popped up bottles of champagne on this set, but they do go 4-1, and they win 2 of the last 3 on this road trip. The gauntlet against Boston, Cleveland, and of course tonight against OKC.
You to pop champagne if you're 4-1 on the road trip?
I'm ready to do it. Maybe Joe Shasky back at home. I know he's ready to do that.
At the end of the day, like I said, an early lead in the NBA is the kiss of death, right? Because the Warriors did everything they were supposed to do. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Second quarter and third quarter, the Warriors, they were shooting, 60% from the field, 60% from 3. They were doing everything that you wanted from them. Moving the ball, playing defense, getting stops and running in transition. Those are the things that you love when you watch the Warriors basketball. Fourth quarter lost a little bit of their composure. This is the thing that Steve Kerr keeps saying. Attention to detail is really important because when you start letting other people get confidence, especially in their own building, OKC is dangerous.
And Mullin, they built healthy habits on this road trip, taking care of the basketball. They limited the blow-bys at night. I think overall they can take this road trip and say, okay, we have something to build on here. Everybody got to play and everybody had an impact.
They've got a lot to build on, not just this 4-1 road trip. They're 8-2 now. So after 10, you like to evaluate after 20 games, but after 10 games, this is going really well. I think way ahead of schedule. But to me, tonight's game was all about in-game adjustments. They got the big lead. They had that second and third barrage of 81-46. But when Chet Holmgren goes out of the game, Steph just mentioned it, they go exclusively to a small ball lineup, which fits their style, but they're prepared a different way with Chet Holmgren in the game. So I thought even that little play I mentioned with Steph, that helped defense. Jonathan Kuminga does not give up middle, forces the guy baseline, trusting that the help's going to be there. A small play, but that builds trust and confidence. And I think that's exactly what this team has in each other. We've seen different starting lineups. We've seen different guys contribute off the bench. At 8-2, everything they've done has worked, and they're clicking on all cylinders.
Well, in the second quarter, they outscored OKC 39-25 and really started to roll there.
When Draymond has the ball, he has this ability to get everybody involved in the offense. This is why they put the split post action into the Warriors offense. Draymond can catch it on the post, the guards can screen, guys can cut to the rim. It makes the layups an option and the three-point shot an option.
This is against the number 1 defense in the league by far. They've dominated all the categories. Field goal percentage against, three-point percentage. The Warriors shoot 50% from the field, almost 50% from the 3. As you said, Bonte, 35 assists, 21 made threes against the number 1 defense in the league. They are clicking, and they're feeling really good about 5 aggressive offensive players at all times.
And the starters, they came out and had a better start. We talked about the slow starts in the pregame show. They got off to a better
Coach
start.
Bonte.
Although they didn't have the lead, they kept pace with OKC before exploding in the second quarter and taking a halftime lead. And then, of course, up by 30 in this game. This is a hell of a way to finish a road trip, Fezzi.
Well, as soon as Coach Bonte decided to sub D'Anthony Melton in,
I was I'm his assistant.
And the starting rotation, he knew exactly what he was doing because getting D'Anthony Melton, another guy who is able to handle the ball, it just makes this Warriors offense so much more dangerous. And he did a great job of coming in and being aggressive. Tonight, from the field, 5 for 8 from the three-point line. He came into the game, was assertive, and I think that led on to the rest of the team.
I think you could see exactly what Steph Curry said in his post-game comments. D'Anthony Melton is a two-way player. He's got a nice, big, strong body. He can guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I thought they did a good job on him. He was, 12-14 from the free throw line, but he was a volume shooter to get his 24 points. So good job there. But Melton, I thought, was a really nice insert into the starting lineup. He's getting healthy. But I think, again, he's another player. Steve Kerr is just asking him to play to his strengths. This is what he does. Yeah. As long as he's healthy, he can play at this level.
SGA, go ahead, Fezzi.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to talk about SGA, I got to give a shout-out to Andrew Wiggins. He did an incredible job on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he's a guy who gets this team going. With his speed and everything, Andrew Wiggins did a great job defending him.
We'll focus on the Mavericks for just a second and return to Klay Thompson. Seth wasn't ready to answer the question.
No, I mean, you got to think about this, Bonte. This is a question that, everyone has had on their minds, but they don't want to talk about it. You have this game scheduled, and everyone has talked about it. November 12th is something all the fans know. Klay Thompson's coming back. Just what he's meant to this franchise. Obviously, you could talk about the championships, but his leadership, the person he has been, the ability to really make this team a family. Whether I played here, whether I'm still playing or not, that's my brother is a guy who I have so much respect for. So I'm excited to see both Splash brothers going against each other like I used to see in practice all the time.
I just want to know if you're going to get on the boat with Klay on the way to Chase Center, man.
No. That's no.
But I think you hit it right in the head. It's going to be a really emotional night for all the right reasons. Klay Thompson, one of the most incredible players that has ever played for the Warriors, one of the most best players ever in the NBA. Did everything on the court and off the court the right way. That will be reciprocated by his, the fans, letting them know how much they love him. But I got to say, Fezzi, that's a really good question. When you got Steph dodging it, he needs time to really get his thoughts together. It's not stuff that I think he wants to just step into. He knows Tuesday is going to be a lot. So take a day to recover, get your thoughts together. Because I think even when you prepare, it's still overwhelming.
No doubt. It's going to be a wild scene to chase, and we'll have more on Klay a little bit later in the postgame show. But let's revisit Steph's night. It was a season high in points and made threes.
You've got to get at least 15 to 25 field goal attempts. And you see the efficiency there. I feel like that's when Steph knows he can give the ball up, get it back. Of course, Draymond knows when to find him on relocation. But I think the new players are really trying to have acclimated well, but you really got to focus late in the shot clock. That's when Steph frees himself up a lot. So they got to get in tune to that, make sure they're setting screens for him. But a much more Steph-like stat line, in my opinion.
Now, I love the way he was moving tonight. Steph Curry was magnificent. He came into the game, he was aggressive. I love D'Anthony Melton taking him off the ball because that's where he's more dangerous. We got Draymond Green with the ball or D'Anthony. These guys are great passers, great playmakers. I love the chemistry they're starting to build with each other. Gary Payton also comes in the game with Steph, and it's just that chemistry it's incredible. They were able to stop the bleeding when the OKC Thunder were coming back into the game. So those are things that you see developing. And I think as the season goes along, you get to see guys understanding where Steph is going to be because it's not a super intuitive thing because at the end of the game, at the end of the shot clock, you get the ball back, you think it's time to shoot. Well, a lot of times the defense reacts or they relax, and that's where Steph is most open, and guys can get the ball to him to get the shot.
And we noted pregame, OKC came in as the #1 defensive team in the league by far in all categories. And we listened to Coach Dagnall, the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach, say how they emphasize the paint first, right? So that means to me the Warriors' adjustment was we want to get to the paint, not necessarily to score, to kick out for open shots. In turn, they make 21 threes. Steph makes 7, D'Anthony Melton makes 5. So 12 made threes from your backcourt is really impressive.
17 points in that third quarter for Steph Curry. He was 7 of 10 and 2 of 4 when the Warriors really blew this game wide open here. All right, let's take a look at the team stat comparison where the Warriors shoot over 50% from the floor, 21 of 43 from the three-point line, 35 assists. The turnovers are a little misleading. They did, for the most part, for the first 3 quarters, Mullin took care of the basketball here, but they turned it over late as OKC made a run here, but they have to fix the free throw shooting. I know that's going to be Steve Kerr will emphasize that in practice moving forward here, but overall, a 4-1 road trip for the Dubs.
Amazing. 4-1 road trip. Now they're 8-2 at top of the West. Tonight, 35 assists, 11 by Draymond. And they out-rebounded the Thunder, which is one of the Thunder's weaknesses. I think they're 30th in rebounding. But 46-41, and D'Anthony Melton gets 10 rebounds.
Well, let's talk about D'Anthony Melton here, who made the start. It was the 7th different starting lineup so far for the Golden State Warriors this season, but Melton was getting his first start with the Warriors.
This is a guy, not just through training camp, they liked him as an opponent because they knew how tough he was defensively. He was a stopper for the Memphis Grizzlies when the Warriors played them so many years ago. And then Steph mentioned the fact that he's just a great two-way player and another veteran that understands what his strengths and weaknesses are And it's the perfect system for him, Festus.
I just see a high IQ player. When he comes on the floor, he knows exactly where to be. There was a play where he relocated to the corner, watched JK with the ball on the wing, and JK knew just immediately to swing it to him because there was a helper right in the middle of the paint trying to guard for Jonathan Kuminga's drive. I love the way he plays with the guys. I love the way he integrates guys in. He knows when to go for his shot or when to create shots for his teammates. Tonight from the field, 5 for 8 from the three-point line. That's really important for the Warriors offense. When he can hit those shots, the floor is spaced, and him as a starter now makes more sense because he creates more space for Steph. Now, you're making mistakes doubling Steph and giving the ball to a shooter. So this is where you make the defense start to think twice.
10 rebounds and 3 steals as well, Mullin.
Yeah, and a lot of the starting lineups have been adjusted. You know, they started GP2 exclusively to guard Jordan Poole. Now you give up a little bit of offense. With the Anthony Melton, you start him, you don't give up any offense. In a game like tonight, and Festus admitted Andrew Wiggins did a great job on SGA. But when you run into a switch situation, and it's Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Melton, you're not really giving up much size, length, and straight-up one-on-one defense. He's a very good one-on-one defender.
All right, Steph Curry was on fire tonight, season high in points and made threes. Anthony Melton with the double-double, but you can't sleep on JK. Jonathan Kuminga came in right away in this basketball game and had an impact.
When I see Jonathan Kuminga play like this, I think of speed, change of speed, and tempo. You see those three-point shots he made. He's catching, facing the basket, and reading the defense before he puts the ball on the floor. And when you do that, you just got a much better tempo to your game, and you're reading the music. You know, so when those guys lay off him, Steve Kerr's okay with him shooting that ball. It's when he just kind of predetermines what he's going to do. In turn, he attacks the paint first, and then they lay off him, and I think he's real comfortable knocking down a three-point shot. 14
of JK's 20 points came in that first half when the Warriors were able to build a double-digit lead. So a solid night for JK off the bench. Anthony Melton gets his double-double. Steph does his thing, and the Warriors get a big-time win. Klay Thompson makes his return for the first time back in the Bay. We have our captain hats on. Looks good on Mullin and Fezzi. I don't know if I can get this thing all the way down. This set of hair here. But you see Klay Thompson and all the cool art. You see Rocco there with the headband. This is awesome, and it's good to see Klay get his love here in the Bay Area, Fezzi.
I mean, Bonte, Klay is so loved out here in the Bay, but you know, I got to travel with Klay this summer, and we were in Africa, and the amount of love the kids have for him over there. You got kids running down the street pointing 1, 2, 3, 4 for all the championships of what he's meant to basketball in general. So Klay has really handled his platform with class and grace, and I'm excited for him to be back here in the Bay.
Yeah, and when you think about Klay Thompson, 4-time champion, he's done some things no other player in the league history has done. You think about that 37-point quarter against Sacramento. I happened to be in the building that night. When Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points, he didn't have a 37-point quarter. So this guy has been incredible. You were his teammate. I just enjoyed every minute watching him play. And when I think of Klay, I think of a big smile, the passion and the fun he plays with. The easygoing attitude, not low maintenance, zero maintenance. And, you know, Tuesday is going to be really emotional and a good chance for everyone to show the love that they have for Klay Thompson.
Guy once scored 60 points on 11 dribbles, man.
And
didn't play the fourth quarter.
Didn't play the fourth quarter.
It's insane. His work ethic, though, is what represents all of that. You know, I got a chance to ask him about that. And actually, I showed him a video of his first game back. He was like, I haven't seen this before. His first game back after missing 2 years with an injury. And it was such an emotional night. Even for me, like I support Klay because I went through my share of injuries. I wasn't able to get back on the court. So I felt like I was trying to will Klay back on the court. And watching him be successful, win a championship after coming back, just the heart of a warrior, heart of a champion, and an incredible human.
And I could still see that was against Cleveland, and his first basket was a dunk.
Yeah,
right?
It was a dunk. We're like, oh, how's he landing? He scored 16 in that game. Quickly, what do you think his emotions are going to be once he gets on that flight from Denver back to the Bay Area? It's going to be tough for him, right? Knowing Klay Thompson?
I tell you the truth, I did when I got traded to Indiana, my first trip back to play the Warriors, when it really hit me, when the plane was landing, coming down. You almost felt like you're coming back home, but you're not. So the day before is when that plane was landing, you know, you see the familiar sights of San Francisco, all those flights you took as a Warrior, you're basically taking that same trip. You know, so it's like I said, you can prepare all you want. It's like one of those games where the crowd's so hyped up, you got to manage your emotions, but it's a lot easier said than done.
I mean, he just moved a couple months ago, so it's still home. And for Klay Thompson, you know, I'll speak from my own personal experience. When I moved to Portland and I came back and they played the tribute video, I mean, you're just trying to fight back tears, and because you understand everything that's meant to this organization. But for you, the bonds that you've made with your teammates, with all the people on the facility, all around the organization, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for everyone to show him the love that he deserves.
And then every fan's going to get a captain hat, so he's going to see this in the crowd.
In the back of his mind, he wants to get 50.
Oh, yeah, he wants to go off in this game.
On 2 dribbles.
And he's going to see all these captain hats out here.
Well, the Dallas Mavericks have Kyrie and Luka, who are 2 of the best scorers, not just in the NBA, in the history of the NBA. And with them being so prolific, you have a guy in Klay Thompson who is able to really just get spot-up shots whenever he wants. Now, they're trying to figure out the chemistry. Just like the Golden State Warriors have a style of play, Dallas Mavericks have their style. And after playing here with the Golden State Warriors for 13 years, trying to find a new system and fit into a new system, that's a journey. But that team is very dangerous, and you look out for them in the West.
Mavericks 5-5 to start the season. Again, they lost today to Denver. It's Kyrie had 43 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. He could still get a bucket at any level on the floor. They had Luka Doncic 9 of 19, 24 and 9 and 9 for him. But Tuesday is going to be fun here in the Bay Area as he return to.
First of all, just thoughts go out to Chet Holmgren. We're all hoping he's okay. He's an incredible young player, and you hate to see anybody go down. And it looked serious. I don't know what the outlook is, but we're all thinking about him.
Just because of that injury, kind of turned into a small game. Was this an example of the adaptability and depth of this team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we feel like we have a very versatile roster and that we can play a lot of different ways. And that changed everything. You know, as soon as he went out, and obviously they're without Hardenstein as well. So it turned into a small game. That's why Loon didn't play. That's why we leaned into our small lineups, and our guys did a great job.
How impactful has Gary been this season, just in general?
Yeah, Gary's, one of our highest plus-minus guys every year. He just impacts the game at such a unique level, in a unique way, I should say. Incredible on-ball defender, and then he kind of plays like a big guy with setting screens and diving and finishing at the rim. So Gary's been really important for us.
What do you take away overall from this 5-game trip? You go 4-1, you see all different styles of play, you deploy different styles of play. What are your biggest takeaways?
Hell of a trip. Great way to start the season out. Winning 8 of our first 10, and including a couple of road wins against 2 of the best teams in the league. So I feel like our team's in a good place. But obviously, this is just the beginning of a long season. So we've got to keep working.
You started Melton. Was that matchups based, or did you just really kind of?
I like this lineup with Melt. I anticipate doing it again Tuesday. I think it gives us a really good two-way lineup. You saw what he can do at both ends. Starts the game out with a beautiful assist. He's a really good passer, excellent three-point shooter, but a really good on-ball defender as well. So, Melton, the starting lineup, is something we've talked about a lot, in camp and here in the early going, and I really liked it, and I think it makes a lot of sense for us.
So it sounds to me like obviously it's an adjust, but you would like this.
I would like for that starting group that was out there tonight, I would like for that group to be our group going forward. I think J.K. has shown how important he is to us off the bench. 20 points tonight, some huge plays. He seems to really fit into that role well, and we're looking for really good defense to start the game, and that lineup gives us 2 on-ball defenders with Wiggs and Melt, and then 2 bigs with Draymond and Trace. So I think we'll stay with it, and we'll see how it goes the next couple of weeks.
You had the 31-point blown lead in Houston, still in tonight, nearly blew a big lead. You're pumped coming off a 4-1 road trip. Do those 2 nights concern you at all?
I think those 2 nights are good for us to look at what we're doing wrong to give up leads. On the other hand, it's the modern NBA. No lead is safe with all the 3-point shooting, the pace. as difficult as it is to guard people in space. So it just feels like this is the modern NBA, but we did have turnovers in both games that allowed both Houston and OKC to get back in the game, and that's probably where we can clean some things up.
What kind of rhythm do you feel like Steph in particular was able to find on this trip the way you finished today?
Yeah, Steph was incredible. I mean, great rhythm. The impact that he made with his passing, with even when he wasn't making shots, he was pulling defenders with him, and that opened up the whole offense. And those second and third quarters were really beautiful to watch. And obviously, we had to go back to him pretty early. It looked like it was going to be a night where we could keep him under 30 minutes again. And then obviously OKC made that big run to start the fourth, and Steph did a great job of coming back in and closing it when it got a little dicey.
Kyle with some extensive minutes in some of those small ball groupings. Just what have you noticed from him in those units and how those have come together?
Kyle's a phenomenal basketball player. He can play any position. We lean on him to run the point in a lot of groups, but he's also a center in small ball lineups like he was tonight. So when the game turned small, we decided to play Kyle at the 5 instead of Loon, and get a little more spacing on the floor around Kyle, and he's perfectly suited for that role. So it was fun to watch him out there.
Just any thoughts? I mean, Clay coming back on Tuesday. Any thoughts on what that game is going to be like? What that day might be like for you guys?
I'm looking forward to it. I think we all are. It'll be very emotional. I know our fans are geared up for it, and I can't wait to see Clay. Thanks.
Wear a captain hat on the sideline?
Probably not, but thanks.
You guys, after Chet went down, really shifted small. And was this an example of you about the adaptability and the depth that you all talked about? The game shifts and you guys just
Yeah, definitely. Oftentimes when you're talking about depth, you're talking about how deep you can go, and obviously, just the short amount of guys you can play. But the main reason depth is important because if you remember last year, Steph and Steve talking about the lineups and just kind of running out of options of lineups that we can go to. And this year is the total opposite. If we need to go small, we can go small. We need to put a shooting lineup out there, we can put a shooting lineup. We need to put a defensive lineup, we can put a defensive lineup. We need to put a big lineup, we can put a big lineup, and so definitely makes a difference in a night like tonight where, they play 5 guards all night pretty much. It's good we're able to have that adaptability.
What did you not just do that first, but just in general, what did you like about his game?
He gives us another ball handler. Obviously the spacing that he provides, and then, defensively taking on that challenge of guarding Shea, being the primary defender on Shea. And that's a tall task. He's one of the better scorers in our league, and you say you held him 24 points. That's good work.
To go from a road trip like this, and it started where you guys kind of blew lead, but held on, ends you blew lead, you held on. What do you learn about this? What kind of group like this still forming together? Come together on a road trip?
You just learn a lot about yourself in the face of adversity. Both road games, obviously, crowd get into it. Young teams with crazy energy and, just withstand their punch. They're a proud team. That's why they are 8-2 now. This organization is known for their competitiveness, for their drive, and they were never going to quit. And they put a group out there that found the energy, and they were able to give their starters a chance. So you just got to give a lot of credit to the organization as a whole, and just having guys that would never quit.
For you guys, are you guys forming an identity?
For sure, we know, we've known since the start of camp what we wanted that identity to be, and we're working towards it. At times you get away from it, but the most important thing is you find a way to get back to it, and I think we did a good job of that tonight.
What jumps out about the way Kyle centers small ball units, and then how do you feel playing in small groupings with you guys?
I love playing with Kyle. When he's on the floor, he brings a lot of what I bring. And so just having that guy who is communicating, on the back line. I was telling Loon on the bench, like when I'm in the game with Kyle, it feels like I'm in the game with Loon. I can take more chances, can be more aggressive in certain spots because he's going to be there to cover it. And then, he adds another ball handler, another playmaker. So, I've always said how much I hated playing against him. It's been great to have him as a new addition. We have a very important in-season tournament game on Tuesday. We bombed it last year, and I'm looking forward to having a better turnout in it this year.
What it feel like for you just running with that first group? Steve said that was something they had talked about for a while.
Yeah. It felt good. I ain't seen that lineup since I think almost like the first or second game of preseason. So a lot of lineup changes, and I think that's what makes it so deadly at the same time, being able to switch lineups up and get out there and play different guys. So I felt great. I felt like, we was able to run out there and get guys open looks too.
Yeah, Chet's injury obviously changed things. You guys downsized. What popped about those small lineups where you guys were defending the ball with movement?
Like you said, we was defending. You know what I mean? We was defending, guarding the ball, switching, recovering for each other. I think that's the biggest thing. We was helping the helpers out there. And, even when we was giving up some, cheap fouls and stuff like that, we responded well by getting more stops and, executing some good offense.
What's your mentality on the glass, knowing that, smaller lineups are going to necessitate it?
Go get it. Go get it. Like, I just, I hate having a guard, for 25, seconds and give up an offensive rebound, then having to go guard again. So, I know I don't like it. I know other people don't like it too. So just, attacking the ball, I think that's the biggest thing. We just continue to attack the ball and those rebounds.
Yeah, both in the games that you played and obviously watched 2-4-1 on this road trip. What do you take away from a road trip like this early in the season you can apply moving forward?
We a tough team. Real resilient. The way we responded, after given what happened last game, we responded well. We came back, and we felt like we came with even more aggression, and that's what we need. Love that.
Welcome back to HoopZone Sport News. Tonight, we're breaking down the Golden State Warriors' strong performance against the Oklahoma City Thunder, with DeAnthony Melton standing out as a key contributor. As the Warriors gear up for a challenging season, finding a reliable fifth starter to accompany Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and the core has been one of their main focuses. Last night, Melton made a compelling case to fill that spot. Some of Jonathan Kuminga's best basketball recently has come since his move to the bench, giving the Warriors a fresh rotation option. Buddy Hield has become a frontrunner for Sixth Man of the Year, while Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody have embraced critical roles. However, last night, Melton's versatility truly shone through. Despite battling back issues that kept him out of 5 games, he returned with fire and focus, demonstrating his impact on both ends of the floor. Coach Steve Kerr's decision to start Melton seemed validated immediately, as his energy helped the Warriors gain early momentum. His contributions? 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and an impressive shooting night from beyond the arc. Melton was relentless, taking on the primary responsibility of guarding OKC's rising star, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He held Shai to just 6 of 17 shooting from the field, a stat that shows his dedication to shutting down the opposition's best offensive player. Coach Kerr said it best, this lineup with Melton brings a balanced two-way presence that has been missing at times. Melton's combination of offensive versatility and defensive discipline is something Kerr and his staff discussed throughout training camp. Melton, who made his mark with the Memphis Grizzlies, has earned a reputation as Mr. Do Something for his impact across multiple stat lines. Last night, his nickname proved more than fitting, as he scored, defended, rebounded, and helped move the ball fluidly on offense. Draymond Green's post-game praise for Melton was almost an endorsement of making his starting role permanent. Green highlighted Melton's ability to handle the ball, spread the floor with his shooting, and take on the toughest defensive assignments. Holding Gilgeous-Alexander, a prolific scorer, to just 24 points while limiting his shooting efficiency speaks volumes about Melton's defensive impact. This wasn't just a good defensive game, it was the type of performance that brings stability to the Warriors lineup. So, should Melton keep his starting role? After watching his performance last night, many fans would say yes. His skill set complements Curry, Green, and Wiggins perfectly, and his defensive hustle sets the tone for the Warriors' play on both ends. With him on the floor, Golden State gains a level of intensity and cohesiveness that could be crucial as they face tougher teams down the stretch. But what do you think, HoopZone Sport News fans? Should DeAnthony Melton be a permanent fixture in the Warriors' starting lineup, or do you think Kerr should rotate to fifth starter based on matchups? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more Warriors content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.